the story that the press went with, the one you mentioned, there were stories in the New York Times and Der Zeit that, let's see, they found this 49-foot yacht that was used, and guess what was in it? Traces of TNT, some traces of blood, and two passports that weren't original. And everybody knows whether you have a real or fake passport, you leave it on a boat when you leave the boat. I mean, it was a story that on the surface was comical. And what it made it even worse, it was initially that story was the New York Times was the first one that came up with the story, quoting sources close to the intelligence community. And I will tell you that that's maybe okay, but I don't like to use sources close to anything. But anyway, and it was a story that said that they had another story that there was a group of Ukrainians had rented the boat like that and all that, done as if you could drop miners going down 260 feet from a yacht. Talking about blowing up pipelines 260 feet underwater with divers that go in can only stay underwater a certain amount of time before they get too much nitrogen, and they have to come up into compression chambers, and to go down, they go down 90 feet, and they have to wait till the blood regulates. They're living on oxygen, a combination that's a really interesting combination: oxygen, nitrogen, and helium. They're breathing, and they go down 90 feet, and they wait until they get normalized. Their pressure gets normalized. I guess nitrogen in the blood. It's called the bends, and it will kill you. And they go down. It takes a long time to go down. They can come up faster because there's a decompression chamber in the boat that's taking them, and that's why it's the story about a yacht. A decompression chamber is as big as it's like a destroyer. I mean, it's a big thing that they're into. You need two of them for two guys. Anyway, the reason there wasn't a fourth bomb, a mindset, isn't because one didn't go off. It's because they didn't have time to set it. They were only 50 minutes underground, and they had two guys, and they each had 4 pipes to blow up. There were 2 pipes with 2. The pipes were 4, but they were doubled up, 2 and 2, and they also were covered by a concrete barrier to keep the water out. That's 6 feet around, and so they had to blow through that. That was concrete. That's easy, but they had to blow up. Steel pipelines, and that's a lot of. Anyway, they didn't have time. It's a really easy answer. And ask me that question, I have an answer. Ask me other questions, I have answers to that he didn't write about. But I do check. I'm told I can say more. I can tell, I know more. And it wasn't a bunch of Ukrainians. That was a story. With the CIA does an operation, they always have a counter argument. And the whole notion of a boat, that boat never existed. That boat, they claim they have photographs. I'm sure there's other yachts named with the same title. It was a title from Greek mythology. It's a very common title. I don't remember Andromeda. It was a famous story in the Greek classics.